right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Spencer Israel, Stock Market TV. That's Jason Purvis from the Gold Rush. Jason, today is a historic day in the precious metals markets. Let's talk about it as we do this live stream at 3 o'clock on Friday. Silver actually off the lows of the day. Silver only down 27% today. Only 27%. We have
pretty small move.
Pretty small move. You got gold down 8. I was looking at platinum, palladium, copper, all the metals, all down today. It's the worst day for silver in almost 50 years. Jason, let's talk all about this. You ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
All right. First off, I want to give shout out to Wavy in the chat, who totally correct, right? We bounced right off the 50-day moving average. Silver futures, what was the number? It was 73.7, right off it. Boom, kissed it, and we're off the lows of the day. So the good news is we are not at the low of the day. We're actually going up right now as we record this. So yay, right?
We're doing it.
We're doing it, guys.
Big move higher here, guys.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay, Jason, why don't you put this move into context for us? First off, why is this happening?
So, once silver is made a huge move, right? So if silver is making a big move and this is an insane move and everybody in the world knows this has been an insane move, we can understand, and Sam and I have been talking about the whole time, at some point it's going to change. What we can do is we can stay long, understand our targets, control what we can control. Here's our trailing stops. Here's our signals. So we have this for silver futures. We actually issued an alert on Monday for all of our paying subscribers. So we issued an alert for our members to get out around 111. That was the target that we put out. We also highlighted how a trend following system works in that same video, so how you can ride it in two different ways. Both of these get you out with money. So we both, either way you did it, you made a lot of money on either side of the trade. Great, but sometimes you got to get out of things. And I feel like, silver was one where everybody's like, hey, it's going to go up forever. And maybe it's not done. Once again, but this is a huge change in character. Silver has had some 10% down days that tend to get bought up and so on. This is a change in character. This is 27% down. 30%, I think, was the high it hit. I mean, that's a huge move.
31% is what it was down at its most, I think.
That's a huge change in character for a massive uptrend that's been going on for months and months. But once again, all you can do as a trader is really, hey, we've been riding this thing since about $20. And we've been in it for a long time. And then it hits a 111. We've been highlighting every target. The target around 50. Hey, we could hit 73. The target around 73. Hey, we could hit 111 if we're above that. We hit 111. We issue an alert. Hey, guys, you can get out of this now. If you guys are target traders, if you're trend traders, you've been in it since $20. Ride that trend, see where it ends, and so on.
Jason, is there, as far as you can tell, is there a reason for this move today? Or is this just what happens when the price of an asset goes parabolic to all-time highs?
I think this is just what happens. Now, once again, there could be a million reasons. There's been a bunch of sexy stories about silver the whole time. The supply issues, this and that. Yes, all of these are real issues, but they don't keep the price moving higher. What usually happens when prices get to, let's say, $120 silver, who's really left? Where are the buyers coming from at that point? It's like maybe some speculators, maybe people late to the party. But anybody who really knows what they're doing, they're not really buying heavily all the way up there once we get to these massive levels. So if we look at that, we kind of see these, okay, well, we're not really seeing that much smart money buying, which is the commercials anymore. We're not seeing a lot of speculators coming in there and really pumping that up either way. So at that point, who's really left to buy? And it's just a bunch of random people. Maybe this thing consolidates. Maybe the buyers come back in at some point. I think that would be very possible. But what we've been doing here is kind of moving on to different things, making sure you guys have the target, saying, hey, we want to stay long these things until we hit our levels. We hit those levels, took the trade off the table for Gold Rush members, and we'll see where we're at, coming into Monday. I don't think there's anything that happened. I think everybody's looking at it going, okay, is it the Fed? Is it this? I just think it's, hey, if you play with fire, you get burned sometimes. So you're sitting there riding a major trend. If you don't have an understanding of where my stop loss is at all times, if you don't have an understanding of what am I targeting, you're going to get kicked in the nuts sometimes. And it's happened to me many times as a trader. Not making fun of anybody, but I am saying, the same thing that I say all the time to members is understand where you're getting out before you get in. That's the most important thing.
I mean, the timing of it is interesting, right? Trump announces his pick for a new Fed chair this morning. We should note that silver had a pretty volatile day yesterday. It didn't close down all that much. It actually, but if you just look at the bar or the wick on the candle, it got down there for a moment. It wasn't pretty for a little while yesterday, and then it kind of came back, kind of like what's happening today. So the timing of it with the Fed announcement or Trump's Fed announcement, and then today, it's certainly interesting. I'm with you. Correlation does not equal causation. I don't think it's as simple as making the connection there. Can you just explain to us who on this chart, who are these speculators and the commercials?
So the speculators, if we're looking at this chart, this is basically what we'd call the dumb money. They're not exactly dumb, but these are the trend guys that are going to be in the positions on the way up most of the time. Some of them are buying 50-day, 100-day, 200-day, 52-week highs, whatever it is. They're buying on the way up. So when they get to extreme positions, we usually see this trend change. And then the commercials are the opposite. So where you see those yellow lines is where these spread apart. Basically, the speculators getting very long. The commercials getting very long, meaning the smart money. So commercials, we're talking about the producers of the product. So they know what's coming out of the earth. They know the supply. They know all these things. So we always want to kind of bet with the commercials at these times. So looking at them, and if they're at these extreme positioning periods, which we've seen a few times, that usually puts in bottoms in the market, and we see rallies after that point. So right now we're kind of at the opposite end of the spectrum. We're really not seeing a scenario where we can say, hey, we're at a really good point to buy the crap out of this thing. We're just at a point where positioning has gotten wild. People have gotten, what I said the other day, if you go to a grocery store. I mean, maybe before the storm, and Spencer, you guys had a storm too. You go to the grocery store, you're probably going to Costco. You're buying stuff for the baby. You're buying stuff for the family, whatever. You see people are fighting for bananas and toilet paper and all types of shit. I mean, people are irrational. Like it was literally a 2-day storm. It was going to come through. It was going to be quick. People were packing like it was Armageddon. It's the end of the world. It's the same thing here when you see traders into these trades, in these massive parabolic uptrends. People are just piling into it. And for me as a trend guy, I'm like, okay, I've been in since 20. I can just kind of sit on my hands, let this thing ride. When my stop is hit, I'll get out. For you guys who are target traders, when the target's hit, you can get out. And that keeps you rational in a very irrational trade. Spencer, hit chart 8.
Okay.
So speaking about
my God, look at that.
Speaking about the chaos, and what's funny is this was kind of this is one where it's like, man, this is such a huge move. If you zoom out, it doesn't look that big compared to the insane move that silver has had, right? But if you look at the bottom, it's basically telling you this is one of the biggest rate of changes that we've ever seen in silver. I don't even think I can go back to the 70s. I went back as far as I could. I couldn't find anything. I didn't make it all the way back through 70s. If somebody can tell me that, please let me know. But I think this is the biggest one-day rate of change move we have ever seen in silver. When something like that happens, it's a shift in character. Now, Straz has always wanted to talk about these type of charts. If you guys didn't see the earnings thing yesterday, that was really good. So definitely want to check that out from the beat report. But if you look at this is basically telling you that this rate of change that's all the way down here is a huge shift in character. And we've seen this at tops before. 2020 topped out, kind of a similar rate of change scenario. But we also see this at bottoms at times. Once again, this doesn't look like a bottom. This thing's been in a massive parabolic uptrend for a long time. This is a huge shift in character. I would really need to see this thing dig in. It's kind of like copper was earlier last year. So copper had that huge rate of change down day. It was a 20% down day, very quick hit, one of the biggest moves in copper's history ever. It bottomed out very quickly, went sideways, and then went higher. That would be exactly what this thing needs to do. I'm not betting on that at the moment. I'm just saying, like, no matter what you do, control what you can control, which is use your trailing stop loss, use your targets, get in and out of positions using that, unless you're a long-term holder of something like silver. Silver is a very more speculative than something like gold, So you're going to deal with some major drawdowns and so on. But for traders, just be tactical, be willing to get in and out of things.
Well, you mentioned, the fact that I want to find there it is. Speculators haven't been buying. If you've been paying attention to the fund flows, which is the thing I like to check, fund flows is not the end all be all. It's certainly not like the world's most actionable signal, but there have been. It is interesting when it reaches an extreme, and there have been some really extreme outflows in out of the SLV ETF this week. If you go back to I guess Monday, there was $368 million of outflows. Tuesday, 447. Wednesday, 758. Right. Thursday, 408, 409. So there's been a lot of record outflows, money pouring out of the SLV ETF this week. And, obviously the price has gone up. It's kind of a sentiment indicator, right? People are taking chips off the table, right? So I think that's interesting. This shows the short interest, which is not at the all-time high, but frankly still quite high, right? So sentiment was reaching an extreme point in more ways than one. This was kind of always bound to happen. I like what who just said this in the chat just now. I want to pull it up. Yeah, SM Trez, right? Maybe the announcement about Kevin Warsh, maybe that was the match, but this whole parabolic move, that was the fuel, right? And the fuel has been building and building and building for weeks and weeks and weeks, and now here we are. So huge ball off top. And it's taking down, as I said at the top, the rest of the metals complex here. You got gold, platinum, palladium, copper, and not to mention every silver stock under the sun, obviously, all getting dragged down with this move. It is a broad-based sell-off. What's that one silver ETF? That is, I looked at it earlier. Wait, what was the ticker on it again? AGQ. Have you seen AGQ today?
I have not.
AGQ, again, off the lows, but down 58%. AGQ yesterday.
Oh, that's a leverage one. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yesterday, AGQ was $435. Today got down to $123. So yeah, leverage can mess you up on days like today. So PSA. But anyway, it's everything, right? It's silver, it's gold. I want to go to a few more. It's the miners, same story, right? So my question to you then is, silver reached your target, you said on Monday?
Monday, yep. We put that out for members on Monday.
Yep. So how are you positioned right now, and what will you do about today?
So my positions are gone. So silver is gone out of the portfolio for the fund. So across the board, gone. GDX is holding on, still has some room to the stop, and then GDXJ and so on. But once again, this is something that really would have to prove itself at this point, that it could continue. This is not something that you take lightly and look at and go, okay, like once again, silver, simple, get out. You have your levels that you should have gotten out at. If you're a target trader, great. If you're like me and you're running a trend following system, great. Members, you know those numbers. They're both gone. They got out earlier today. So once again, if you're continuing to understand that, you just need to know how to position yourself across the rest of these, which is, I don't think something like silver miners or anything are going to do really well if silver continues down. However, if I do see some strength there, I still want to stay long the gold miners. I still want to stay long GDXJ. I still want to stay long all of these because I think there is going to be a nice move there. So if we look at, let's see here, Spencer, we'll go to slide 10. So slide 10 here, if we're looking at junior gold miners to gold miners, that's still a very sustainable uptrend. So we're in this very sustainable uptrend here. It's not telling me like, hey, this is over. This is the end of the party. This is telling me something's up here, but I don't know what just yet. But I want to take each of these trades by itself. I don't want to just look at silver and say silver's getting killed. I want to be out of everything. I'm saying silver's getting killed. I want to be out of silver. Gold looks okay. I want to still be in gold. Gold miners look okay. I'm going to still be in gold miners. And that's it for the moment. I don't want to overthink that at all.
So that's an interesting, because all these trades, they are correlated, but they're not the same, right?
Yes. They're not exactly the same. So when you think about trades, it's, for me, this is the way I think about trading, which is, I learned this from old leak document from Ray Dalio back in the day, which is talking about like all the different regimes and where you can be and how to use correlations. And so when you're correlated, you want to be correlated a little bit heavily as a trader. You don't just want to be correlated like, I want to correlate for correlation's sake, meaning I'm going to buy bonds and I'm going to buy silver because these are inversely correlated or something. That's ridiculous. What someone like Dahlia would do and how he made a lot of his money is find things that all kind of work together, buy those trades, and you'll make a lot of money by diversifying your bets, having small sizes across multiple things. Think about 2020, for example. If we go to 2020 and we think of what happened off of those lows, there's a lot of people who could have said commodities are going to move off of those lows. It made sense. Rates went to zero, unlimited QE, no shit. Very easy trade. But once again, what all moved? Well, if you bought, let's say you go and you do Dalio method, you buy sugar, let's say you buy gold, you buy silver, let's say you buy oil too. So 3 of those trades worked really well. Even though they're all pretty heavily correlated, 3 of those trades worked awesome, which is gold, silver, basically any other commodity besides oil. Oil got killed, went down, negative $50 in the front month contract in April of 2020. So by diversifying in that type of a way, you're going to make money, even if things are heavily correlated. So for me, I'm always looking, take each trade as it goes. You get the signals as it goes, great. When I get a sell signal for GDX, I'll be out of GDX as well. There's other things in the portfolio that are working very well right now, and other things are going to be frothy. It's just, that's the way trading works.
All right. So there are broadly speaking 2 groups of people that exist today. There is group 1, which you are in, people who were in the silver trade, you wrote it up, you either sold on the way up, if you're lucky as hell, you sold at the top, or you're getting stopped out today. That's group 1. Group 2 is the group that I'm in. Have not ever owned silver, did not own silver this entire time, and now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, silver at, well, what are we at right now? We're at, the futures are at 83. Silver at 83. That's interesting. Should I step in and buy it here? So what would you say to that?
I think silver at 83. So this is a question I actually got today a lot, Spencer, which is, what do I do here? Should I buy more silver? What do you think? And I said, no, absolutely not. Like when you see a big rate of change move like we've seen today, like what we showed earlier on that slide, I think it was slide 8 now. When you see a huge rate of change move to that degree, it's not something that I want to come in and buy it. If it bases out and starts to turn back up, sure, you can, if you're that type of trader, you can take a tactical bet at that point. But these things never just, like, even think of copper. Copper had that huge down day. It did go back up, but what did it do for a while? Well, it just went sideways. It chopped around. It was very frustrating. So wait for this thing to base out a little bit and then buy it as it's moving back up, maybe getting back up and over something like a level that you think is significant, maybe 87, maybe 90, something like that. But you don't just want to buy things when they're crashing. It's catching a falling knife. It's one of the number 1 rules as a trader. You're going to get killed if you do that. So just try to stay away.
I hear what you're saying. Hear what I'm going to say, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until 36 minutes from now, right before the close, and assuming that things mellow out in the next half hour and we don't either rip higher or come crashing down, assuming that we are around where we are right now in a half hour, I'll probably step in and buy this using the low of the day as my out, right? So you have a very clear and obvious out. How do you exit? How do you know when you're wrong? Controlling your risk. It's all about that. Every trade is not about what you can make. It's not what you can lose. So if I buy it now, I'm wrong at 73. I'm done, right?
Death by 1,000 cuts, Spencer. That's the other one. It's death by 1,000 cuts. You might as well wait a little bit, be patient for it to get a little bit of upside, because death by 1,000 cuts, what that basically means is like
I'll get chopped out. I'll get chopped out immediately. That's what you're saying.
Yep, I know you know that, but just to explain it to the audience, it's more like you have, like, for example, you have a portfolio and you keep trying to buy these dips, and then it goes down. You lose like a 2% of your portfolio, 1% of your portfolio over and over again. And at some point, you're just getting killed in one single trade.
Right.
If you wait for it to move up, maybe you get one trade that gets stopped out or two trades that get stopped out, but you're not going to get like 20 trades that get stopped out because and this is the other thing. This is important. Commodities are very trendy. They trend very well. Stocks are very mean reverting. So when commodities start to break down, this is something that I learned on building systems. So I built a system that was a 4-day down system for the S&P 500. So on the 4th day down, you buy the S&P 500. This makes money most of the time. It's like an 80% win rate system. However, if you do the same thing for commodities, it just tends to be the start of a trend. So this system is a very low win rate system. And you do not win at all, and you end up blowing up your account every time. So with commodities, be careful with things like that. Fair enough.
Different market, different characteristics. Someone in the chat goes, "This is a amateur trying to convince a pro." Basically, that yes, actually, that's what's happening right now. So, and also, I would never buy silver. I would buy the SLV ETF. Same thing, but just technically different. Just ETFs exist for convenience and sure. So, okay, Jason, you may have talked me out of it. I'll let you know at 4:00 what I end up doing. I trust you. I trust you wholeheartedly. You are the commodities guy. You publish research and trades every freaking day. I read all that stuff, so I understand that you know what you're talking about, and I certainly do not. I've never owned silver, like I said, so I don't know. I've never owned gold either. I don't know, right?
One of these days. One of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. All right. It's 3:23. It looks like things have kind of mellowed out here a little bit, at least watching the market, in terms of the price action. I want to make sure, were there any other charts we had I wanted to bring up? Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up the commodity leadership table. Just you put this together. So this is just a year-to-date performance. Let's make it full screen. Year-to-date performance of the major metals, essentially, and a lot of green on this chart. It's been a really, really good year. I saw a meme like an hour ago on Twitter. Everyone's crying about silver, and look what it's done year to date, right? It's had an unbelievable run. So I guess that's the bigger picture here.
Yes, and that's the thing I'm looking at here, which is the fact, and the reason why, like, I still have GDX, I still have a lot of the miners and so on. And the reason why I'm still holding those is, one, they haven't hit a stop. If they hit a stop loss, I'll be out. But two, if we're looking at this, like, look at silver. Like, yes, it went up to 60%, I think, at one point. But it's still up almost 40% year to date. That's pretty crazy. And then if we look across the board, like, we're just seeing all of these metals doing very well. Uranium's also doing very well, one of my favorite areas for this year so far. So I continue to just think, like, we're in a metals bull market, and it's going to shift from precious metals into more industrial metals and so on, because that's the way the cycles usually work. We've been highlighting these trades already at the Gold Rush. I know Steve at Breakout Multiplier has been taking a lot of those trades as well, making some good money there. And so we just kind of continue to rotate from precious metals into base metals and industrials. And Spencer, hit up slide 13.
Oh, I don't know about slide 13.
We're going to go to 13. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So JC mentioned this when we were on the show the other day together, Spencer, and he was talking, this is his chart, and we were talking about oil bottoming. He talked about oil bottoming from this magazine cover right around the right time. So, he's been saying, I'm waiting for, some crazy economist cover or some cover or New York or something to come out with something about Donald Trump and oil. And that would probably be the bottom. And then we finally got it the other day, which is the next slide. And so we finally see this wonderful picture of Donald Trump chugging a barrel of oil. And this is at the same exact time as the Venezuela thing is going on. So basically, this came out, I think, a week after Venezuela. and then it was Donald Trump chugging a barrel of oil. If you remember, Spencer, on the morning show, I actually came on the morning show and said during the Venezuela situation, I think oil bottomed. And the reason for that was Donald Trump could come on at any moment and say gasoline will be $2, and it would just smack the oil price every single time. That changed with the Venezuela situation. That was probably the biggest catalyst event that we could have ever seen to bring oil down in the United States. It ends up bottoming right there. It's been moving up ever since in the energy sector as well. So hop to slide 16. And so if we go to these and we look at all of this all together, we're definitely seeing now that we're in a scenario where the next trade, and you guys know I've been following this one for a while. I mentioned, the cycle always goes gold, and I'm talking, and people always go, where's silver? All that, that's all the same thing. Gold. Then we move into things like big gold mining names. Then we move into silver miners, platinum, palladium, and so on. Then we get into the base metals. Copper is the first one. Then we start to see iron ore, aluminum, so on. This will start moving as well. And now we're at the final point in the cycle where energy is starting to move. And if that money from precious metals is really going to come out of precious metals, it is damn sure going into energy. And I can say that for a fact. It's something I've been following for many, many years. I love following the cycles, how they're moving. And I think now we're at this point where energy is ready to move. I think we saw that bottom between, the Venezuela situation. We saw some of the most bearish covers, the most bearish people I've ever seen talking about energy. And now we're here making a new high finally after all this time. This hasn't happened. Guys, remember, this is the first new high since 2014. It's been a long time. So I'm excited to see where this one ends up. I think if you guys are looking for the next trade, go to energy. We've been highlighting a lot of these trades already at the gold rush. You guys are going to want to take advantage of that. I know Steve's been highlighting a lot of that as well. He's been trading that well as well. So we'll see where this all ends up.
Jason, I do have bad news for you. The cover of The Economist this week will not be about gold or silver. So
damn.
Yeah, you have to wait maybe next week. I have yet to see a cover.
I haven't either. I'm surprised. Maybe we have more upside. I have no idea.
Well, Fortune Magazine's next edition is next week. So maybe them or maybe Business Week, but no Economist. You have to wait at least a month. No, not a month. It's weekly. Yep. It's weekly. Yep. So you'll wait at least a week for
somehow we have to be inundated with tons of Economist covers every week. It's amazing.
That's right. All right, listen up. If you want to get Jason's research, he mentioned the alert that went out to members on Monday saying that silver hit their target. They always have targets on the upside and the downside. Tells them when to sell if they're wrong or if they're right. Join the Gold Rush. The link is on the screen. The link is in the description. I'll throw it in the chat as well. Yeah, she should be in the chat right now. But there it is in the chat. And then get all of Jason's work and Sam. They do tremendous work. They've been pounding the table on this gold and silver theme for over a year. And now for the past, what would you say, past few months, you've been pounding the table on energy, and that's work.
Yep. Well, we've been talking about the base metals, and now we're recently really getting into the energy trade. We've been talking about that since end of last year into this year. So definitely get all the trades. Come hang out with us. We have a lot of fun here at the Gold Rush. So hopefully we see you guys soon.
All right. It's 3:30 on the East Coast. We're going to hop out of here, watch the markets close for the week and for the month. I'll add. Happy end of January, everyone. And this was a crazy day, an historic day. Days like this, frankly, are days that you don't forget, Jason, I think, right? Yeah. These are days that you remember, years from now. And say, wow, remember the day that silver crashed 30%. That was crazy, right? Maybe more to come. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But if you guys like this, us popping in here, doing this, definitely give us a thumbs up. Definitely share this to people. We'd love to see that and hear from you guys on the other side. So we'll talk to you guys later.
We will see you guys in the Gold Rush. Who knows if we get more crazy moves, we'll have to do more of these streams because this is fun stuff. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and good luck out there. All right.